you ever wish stepmom life could just be a little bit easier? Well, this week's guest is going to tell us how to just let it be easy.
I'm Cameron. I spent years building my career and creating a life I loved. And when my Prince Charming finally showed up, he had 4 kids in tow. Fast forward through lots of mistakes made and lessons learned, step family life was much more complicated than I realized. If you're looking for help with blended family life, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Stepmom Diaries, where we keep it real as we dish about all the things. This is your weekly dose of blended family inspiration and encouragement. You're not the wicked stepmother, so let me help you find your fairy tale ending. Come on, let's do this.
Hello, hello. I am feeling all the feels for today's episode because I get to have another one of my business mentors with me today. You'll remember a couple of weeks ago on episode 56, I got to talk with Amy Porterfield, one of my business mentors, and it was so much fun. Well, this week, I am excited to talk to one of my other business mentors and just one of my favorite people on the planet, Susie Moore. Before we get started, can I ask you a quick favor? Would you consider going to iTunes and leaving me a rating or even better, a review? It will take just a few seconds, and literally every single rating and review I get will help me reach more and more stepmoms just like you. Okay, let's talk about Susie. Susie Moore is a former Silicon Valley sales director turned life coach and advice columnist. Her work has been featured all over the place. The Today Show, Oprah, Business Insider, CNN, Forbes, Time Inc., Marie Claire, and she is the resident life coach columnist for Greatest. And as if that's not enough, Susie's work and her insights have been shared by celebrities and thought leaders all over the place, including Arianna Huffington, Paulo Coelho, Kris Jenner, and Sara Blakely. Her first book, What If It Does Work Out, was named by Entrepreneur as one of the 8 business books entrepreneurs must read to dominate their industry. And her second book, Stop Checking Your Likes, debuted as an Amazon bestseller in April 2020. And her most recent book debuted in 2021 called Let It Be Easy. Susie lives in Miami with her husband Heath and her Yorkshire Terrier Coconut. And of course, I mentioned that Susie has been a mentor of mine for a few years now, and I just adore her. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that Susie literally brings sunshine with her everywhere she goes, and it's not because she lives in Miami. She truly has the best outlook on life, and we can all learn a little bit from her sense of optimism and her sense of self. And we're going to dive into all of that today. So here we go. Let's get started. Susie! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're here.
Oh, Cameron, what a joy. Thank you for having me. You know, I love speaking to you. I love all the things with you. So thank you for the invitation.
Yes, we love it. We love it. So I feel like I could just ask all kinds of questions, but let's start. So you are not a stepmom, which is unusual because this is the Stepmom Diaries podcast, but you have your own experience with blended families. So tell all the listeners like your background, where you come from, all that good stuff.
Yes. Well, I grew up in the UK and my parents were never actually married. I mean, my mum and dad had 2 girls together. I've also got 3 older sisters who had a different dad. We all have the same mum. And growing up, my dad, because, he and my mum were never together, not really together for long. He had a lot of different girlfriends, I don't envy stepmoms. Can I say, if you were given anyone like me, as a young child, I felt like all women were threatening, that they'd take my dad's time and attention, and I wasn't very nice to them. I was looking at.
I remember you telling me there were some shenanigans with some of your dad's girlfriends.
I'm sorry, ladies. No, I was a spoiled brat. I just thought, why do they need to be here? One time, my dad brought one of his partners on a vacation with us, and I just really didn't like it. I just thought that it was taking away versus adding anything. And it was just my first instinct was to maybe also like on some level defend my mom or like protect my mom. But no, I wasn't the easiest. Like I wasn't the easiest to be with. So I take it all back. I like truly.
Well, for the record, all of those emotions are totally normal for a stepchild, right? Like completely normal that you would be like protective of your dad and maybe a little worried about impact on mom. And I mean, all of that's totally normal. So you don't have to feel bad about it at all.
I mean, well, and also it wasn't really encouraged. No one, I mean, it wasn't as if my family had any healthy conversations around that. I mean, my mum, with her understanding of the world and even her own limitations, she'd like kind of want to know the gossip about the women. And, it was fun if there was like gossip to report, so it was just kind of one of those maybe not so healthy, but probably very common situations when there are different moving parts, different people, competing attention, competing love, all of those things that now coming from like a much older perspective, or hopefully a wiser perspective. I do see it differently. And I think that, Cameron, I think the work that you do is so important. I think that, stepmoms, such a massive group, there's not nearly enough love, care, attention, conversations like the ones that you're having. So I'm happy to be part of it.
No, it's true. No, thank you. And it is, it's so interesting to hear you talk about it from the child's perspective. And I was also a stepchild and experienced a lot of those same emotions. And it really is hard because the kids really feel caught in the middle, Now you also, you talk a lot about your background of kind of starting out on welfare with like, taking the coupons in for school lunches. And you have now built this like multi-million-dollar amazing empire. So tell us a little bit about your journey and, going from that circumstance to where you are now with this like gorgeous life in Miami with, your gorgeous husband and beautiful dog and all the things.
See, I am a mom in some way. It's my dog.
Yes, you are.
You know what I've been meditating on recently, Cam? I just thought this was interesting because I was coaching someone who is going through a lot of kind of rough things. And as someone who, as you said, grew up on welfare, lived in domestic violence shelters, had a lot of chaos, addiction, like all sorts of, like all of the things that you maybe wouldn't want, like you wouldn't choose, at first glance. All of those things that were, in my experience growing up, I have such a appreciation for them because I know that sometimes the challenges that we have, like the stuff that we have to suffer through, sometimes the bigger that is, the more I believe the bigger our destiny is. Right. So
I love that. That's such a great outlook.
Well, what do you think about like the bigger the problems, like the more you like smooth seas never made a great sailor, right? As the old saying goes. So if I had to live with a lot of change, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, a lot of going to police stations, I mean, all of the very dramatic, anxiety-inducing things that wouldn't equate to any real form of stability. I knew that my desire at a young age then was big to create a completely different life. Like I will always love and respect my parents, but I don't want their life. Like that was made clear to me very early. And so when I'm kind of growing up, kind of, observing different people, I feel as if when you had hardship early, you become very non-judgmental, right? Because you start to see how other people are suffering, how different people live. No one chooses, right, to wake up and make decisions that aren't healthy for them. We're all just, doing our best. I feel as if the desire for a very healthy, abundant, fun, like secure life was really set. I mean, I didn't even have words for it back then, but I knew that it was born, and I knew that if it was going to happen, it had to be up to me. Like it was self-reliance, like taking full responsibility for your own well-being, I think is the secret, like no matter your situation. And I mean, whenever we look back on our challenges, we may not want to go through them again, right? We, again, wouldn't have chosen them. But isn't it amazing what a bit of perspective does for you? Like how comfortable I am. I mean, I love all people. I feel like I've been given a lens of just looking at the world in a bigger way. And what a blessing now to do the work that I do. I don't think I'd be able to have any even credibility doing the work I do if I lived on Easy Street and if everything was handed to me.
That's an amazing outlook. And it strikes me that I think there are probably a lot of people that grew up in similar circumstances that didn't have that outlook and that kind of wherewithal to pull themselves up and out and do all the things. And I think it really comes from, I mean, you've written and talked a lot about self-confidence and the ability to be kind of self-assured in what you're doing. And it sounds like that's something that was instilled in you or that you discovered really early on. Tell me about that. And is that something you've always had, or is it something that you kind of developed along the way as you sort of realized that it was up to you to make these changes?
Yeah, I think, I've thought about this over the years because I do have a strong sense of self. Like, I do know that, we're all here on earth for a limited time, each with, something to contribute that's meaningful. And if I had to really track back, like the first lesson that I received in just believing in myself and not thinking that anyone was better or superior to me, it was actually at Sunday school. So we used to receive a lot of donations from the church, at various churches wherever we lived, like food, toys, etc. And so my mom would make us go to Sunday school, right? So we can't just take the donations, right? We got to go to the church. I know. And at Sunday school, this one Sunday school teacher said, it was like, I'm sure it must have been a line from the Bible, but it was about just equality, right? How like we are all God's children, right? Something along those lines. I don't even remember it exactly, but I just heard that and I internalized it and I never questioned it. So if God says, if the Bible says, if my Sunday school teacher says, I'm all equal, like we're all equal, then that means that Stephanie with her house, 2 parents, her own bedroom, store-bought clothes, if she's the same as me, then I don't need to feel bad around her. Like, I don't need to feel like, oh, you can't come to my house because I have a shelter, you're not allowed friends. Well, we're just equal. And like, that's the end of the story. And I'm just so happy that I learned that young and I still believe it. Like, where is this not true? Right? Human beings who all come from the same creator, whatever your beliefs are, and this isn't a religious conversation right now, but isn't that a fact? Like, we all come from the same source, whatever we believe that to be. And so why would anyone have any greater significance? And so that almost knowing that, yeah, I'm special because every human being is special, but I'm also not special. Like, we're all just here together on planet Earth right now. Then why wouldn't I go for all the things that anyone else would go for? Why would I need to seek permission somehow? Or why would there be different rules for me and different rules for someone else who maybe has a bit more, or maybe feels like they have enough if I'm observing them? Right, like that just wasn't true. And I know this, and it's almost like this silent, invisible like mantra that I have.
It's amazing, and it's because I think especially as women, it is so easy, and especially growing up, like when you hit your teenage years, and especially in your 20s. It's so easy to compare ourselves to other people and really get caught in that like approval trap of, do I have the right bag and the right shoes? And what do people think of me when they look at me? And, all of these things that just feed into the sort of insecurity monster that holds us back, right?
Oh, yeah. And the world will tell you like over and over again that you're you don't have something, got to work on that, got to improve. Like I even hate that expression, and people use it a lot, especially in the wellness world. I'm a work in progress. I hate that. I'm like, well, we're all just expanding. Like, I'm not a work in progress. Like, I'm a human being figuring out my life. And I don't have to be perfect. Like, where did we get that idea? And if we're willing to work on our beliefs and we're willing to question the thoughts that make us feel bad, then what isn't available, right? I always say, like, if a thought makes you feel bad, right? If a thought makes you feel heavy, disconnected, miserable, sad, whatever it is, if a thought makes you feel bad, it's not true. It just requires a little bit of examination. And what I've learned, Cameron, like probably more than anything else, maybe 2 things, is that number 1, it's not your situation that's upsetting you, right? It's your relationship to this situation. And secondly, there is no permission. Like, there is no one who can give it to you. You're born with it. Like, it's there. You're alive. It's a miracle to be a human being. So no permission is needed. I give that to myself. And when I look at the world and what's available, it's up for grabs. The future belongs to no one.
I love that. And there's so many lessons in there for stepmoms. I think, so many of the stepmoms I work with, and I've seen it in my stepmom life also, you really get impacted by the way that you are treated. or
Yeah.
the way that you're spoken to in different circumstances, whether it's your
Yeah.
spouse's ex or the kids. And I love what you're saying about, that doesn't matter. That whatever they're saying, the truth. Like it's up to you to kind of put that aside and let it go and handle what is under your control.
Yes. And this is why we need the work that you do. Like, stepmoms need all the specifics, like advice on how to handle, confrontations or anything that creates a lot of stress. I mean, it's not a dreamland, right? It's not just like a walk through the park every day. But I always think, in my life, if someone is bothering me, or if, I always like to say, she's making me crazy, or he's really taking advantage of me. Like, these things come out of our mouths, right? And I think, is that true? Like, am I really upset because of something that he or she said, or is it because I have a story attached? One way that I think about it is the thing that's making me miserable isn't the thing that's making me miserable. Like, I do a great job of that all on my own. And I would imagine that stepmoms are very much not alone in their experiences. I don't think they're set up for success. Just from the very nature of like how we feel when there's a newcomer, and it can feel like there's something.
Totally.
So you're entering almost like on a bit of a back foot, right? And so from there, like the actions that you take and the thoughts that you take, they have to be conscious, not just so you can stay in your relationship, but just so that you're okay. Like, so that you're okay, like day to day and taking care of yourself. No one can do that for you.
That's so true. And I want to take that and shift a little bit and talk a little bit more about confidence, because I think that's something that we all struggle with, right? And it doesn't matter what your role is, but I think just as women and in the workplace and everything else. So we had the chance to go to lunch last fall, in person, which was so fun. And Heath, Susie's husband, Heath, who is so kind and sweet, was telling me a couple of stories. I don't think these are out of school, Susie, so I won't embarrass you. But we were talking about confidence, and Heath said, as long as I have known this woman, she has been the most confident person I know. And when we were younger and would go to clubs, and everyone would be like, it's the hardest club to get into. You'll never get in. Susie would say, okay, yeah, whatever, we're going to get in. And would just walk up to the bouncer. And then next thing you know, we're all walking in and past this line of people, and just that Susie has the confidence to just like, yep, we're going to just do it. It'll be fine. And what a great attitude to life, So, I mean, how, if that's something that someone's lacking, and I know you do a lot of work with people and teaching them how to self-coach and everything. There's so many women out there that are so amazing. And I have friends of mine that are lacking that kind of confidence. And I'm like, I don't understand how you can't see how amazing you are. How do you talk to women about developing that self-love and self-confidence that you have? Like, I mean, not that we should all, be brazen. Like, you're going to just have
cut the line. Look, so like getting into a club I do too. I mean, but like when you think about it, like cutting a line in a club isn't a desire for a lot of people, right? I mean, I've no desire to go to the club these days, right? But what it is, it's just I can always identify almost like someone's level of confidence purely based on the actions that they're taking. They don't even need to talk to me. I can just see what's showing up in their life and what it is that they're going for. If I can observe someone, I know a little bit about them. So a couple of things on this. Well, three things actually. The first is I don't take life as seriously as a lot of people. Right. So we can feel like everything is like life and death, and the brain is wired to protect us from threats. Right. And if something is new, if something's uncertain, if something feels like, oh, I could get rejected, shut down, embarrassed, we're like, no, like that's our instinct. No, our brain is doing its job. But I know that that's how the brain works. And I've got myself, and I've got myself with like a little wink. Right. And like a little smile around the whole thing. It's like, okay, if I get shut down by this bouncer, I will still be alive and well, right? Nothing is going to happen to me. Yeah, I'll go, oops, oh, guess what? Guess I'm trying somewhere else, right? Like it would just be something.
It's not even going to ruin my night.
I wouldn't even remember it, like in a couple of weeks, So I don't take things so seriously. Number two, I know this is my definition of confidence. It's simply a willingness to be uncomfortable. Right. So I'm willing to have someone say no. Like I'm willing for someone to go, who do you think you are? Like I'm willing to receive that question. Also, fun fact, all emotions last 90 seconds. The average emotion lasts 90 seconds. It can feel like 2 days, right? Just say that you feel an emotion and you feel stuck in that emotion for 2 days. That's your thinking that's piling onto that initial emotion. The emotion itself passes through the body quickly, like a minute and a half. I'm willing to withstand a minute and a half of negative emotion to get something that I want. Like something big, something significant.
Such an interesting fact. I did not know that.
Isn't it interesting? Like if you're willing to be uncomfortable for 90 seconds, I would bet all of my money on you in your lifetime. Like I even think to myself, if someone's brilliant, talented, genius level, but unwilling to be uncomfortable, and just say that someone may get average. I mean, no one's average, but just for the sake of this, comparison here, just say someone's maybe not that skilled, not that good at something, but they're willing to be uncomfortable. Like they're willing, then I would put my money on that horse. Like it's
I love that.
It's not, and this is great news because you don't even have to be special. You just have to be willing. Anyone can be willing. It's a decision. And then finally, step 3 is, I say this a lot, success is volume, right? It's not like I only tried to stick with one club in my life ever. Like I'm sure I can't even remember, but I'm sure I got shut. I'm sure someone said, oh, this is a private event. And I'm like, I'm with the people. And like, I couldn't, I'm sure that happened. Right. But who cares? Right. I'll kind of I always say like, that the only way to fail is to stop. Like the way to fail is like,
so
that's
true.
That's on us. So if we can take things a bit less seriously, be willing to be uncomfortable. Think about, Cam, all of the conversations that could take place if someone were willing to be uncomfortable just for 10 minutes. Like to say, hey, that arrangement, I had some thoughts. Like, do you think that we could discuss it? Or, this thing, it's not really working for me anymore. I'd love to, we would rather like almost jump out of a moving bus than have
oh my gosh, so true.
But it's like the low hanging fruit to improve your life.
Yeah, it is. And it's so funny because so much of step family life and really just the relationship life, right? And family life is having some of those like uncomfortable, sometimes awkward conversations. And like, if you can just sort of push through that awkwardness, uncomfortable feelings, like if you can push through those, then, especially if the person you're communicating with knows that you're approaching it from a place of love and respect, then you can really achieve a lot.
Yes, but isn't it funny how no one's willing to do it? Like, not nobody, but it's a minority. And then when you think about it, if someone approached me with a conversation that I knew was uncomfortable for them, there's like a respect that comes with that. It's like, I know where I stand with this person. They're being direct with me. And I know it can't have been like the number one thing they wanted to do today was like call me and like negotiate something or, but they did it. And that also allows me then to be very honest back. It's like you set the stage and it doesn't work every time, right? People react differently. You can't control that. But
yeah,
I think, what are we almost all one difficult conversation away from? Like,
oh, I love that. Yeah.
Like
what? That's such a good question.
And we can complain for 10 years about someone's behavior. It's like, have you ever told them? Have you ever said, hey, that thing, like, do you think that it would be okay if this instead? Like, oh no, but for 10 years we'll gossip and complain. It's like, well, maybe if you just told that person how you feel, something could change. Like Tim Ferriss said this. I remember it because I quoted him in one of my books. He said, I want to get it right. He said, the amount of success in a person's life can almost be measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations they're willing to have.
I love that.
Yeah. So like, can we just take that thing? It's so temporary. In 10 minutes, it'll be over. Go get yourself a coffee. You know what I mean? But like,
I love that.
Yeah.
And isn't it often the case? I mean, I know I have found this, especially at work, like the conversations that I just dread having, that I spend so many hours just agonizing over, like, how am I going to bring this up? And it's going to be so awful. And then when you have them, they end up going so much better than this, like, horrible conversation that was in your mind. And, even if it doesn't even if it's not a great conversation, it's almost always better than this like nightmare that you imagine, you know?
Yes. And
it's
yes.
like a weight is lifted off your chest because you have unloaded this, you know?
Oh yeah. And I would say this too. Doesn't matter what the outcome is, right? So just say you approach someone, like giving them the benefit of the doubt, framing it up and with a very neutral energy, you know, approaching it with this very kind of, you know, loving, like coming from a loving place, regardless of what the person does. If they hit the roof, if they cry, if they shout at you, you've still done your job in terms of your confidence. Yes. Like 100, like, so I used to do a lot of training around helping people get salary increases, telling them how to set themselves up just to get that money, honey, right? And I would say it doesn't matter what the response is. You have done your job 100%. Like this is a skill for you to master, to like have for the rest of your life. And it's going to happen again and again and again, right? Yep. It's not just like one isolated thing. And I'm like, you know what? High five. I don't even care hopefully you get the result that you want, but high five 100%.
But you've left it on the table. Yeah.
Yes, you've done your part. There's nothing more. You can't say, okay, now you open your mouth and you go, yes, you will get it. You can't control that, but your part, your part, which is everything, is done. And that, I mean, no one can take that. And that's essentially like the confidence training. Like I love to even embarrass Heath. Whenever we go somewhere, if I buy 2 or more of something, I'm like, is there a discount for volume? Like, and I know.
Oh, I always do that.
Good. I'm like, can I get like something extra? Like, or, I mean, he always jokes. He's like, oh no, you're going to ask for something, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah.
I totally embarrass Craig with that too. He's like, seriously? Good. I'm like, I'm saving us money.
Yeah. And look, you're not going to win 100% of the time, but it doesn't matter. I remember once.
But you're never going to win if you don't ask.
That's right. And look at how much you could just be like benefiting. I remember once, I was in New Orleans, so that we went for this fun weekend, and we were at this shop and they were selling like these gorgeous like butterflies. It was really cool. And my friend bought 3 and I was like, is there a discount? And the lady was like, no, sorry, these. And I was like, is there anything you can do for us? Like, I didn't even want to stop. And she was like, no, but we got nothing, 0, right? But my friend Melissa was like, I just love how you ask. And then she actually went on another trip after that. And she's like, I asked for a discount on a pair of pants because the button was loose and I got it. And she was like, it's because I copied you. So even my failure, right, was a win, was a win somehow. So
yeah,
we don't need to take score even.
I love that. But I love the idea of like, you've left it on the table and you have to sort of stop worrying about it at that point. I just had a number of conversations with my stepdaughter around this because she's been applying to colleges and she was waiting to hear back from her top choice and was so nervous about it. Like the closer it got to when she knew she was going to hear, she's like, oh, I don't know. I mean, if I don't get in, I mean, I guess I have these safety schools, but I don't really want to go to any of those. And I don't know. And I kept saying to her, I'm like, look, you have an outstanding high school record. You put together a great application. There's literally nothing more you can do. Yeah. At this point, it is 100% out of your hands. And if you don't get in, it's because they were looking for a different kind of candidate and you cannot control that.
Yeah.
And really kind of trying to talk her through, you know, this like anxiety and dread for getting this decision in. And you know what? She got in. Which we were so happy about. But she really like, it was hard for her to sort of, this was like the first really giant life decision, you know, that was out of her hands completely. And so she was really struggling with like the waiting and all of that.
It's interesting
because it's a hard lesson to learn.
But it also never ends. Then it'll be a job. Then it'll be a boyfriend, right? Or a girlfriend, right? And then it will be like, are they choosing me? And the thing is, you won't always be chosen.
Yeah, like, totally.
I always think to myself, it's good to have some rejection early in life or something, you know, because so long as you keep going, like, it's okay. It's wonderful that she got that result, but she's no less worthy if she didn't get that result.
Absolutely. And that's what we told her. I said, look, you know, we don't care where you go. If you want to take a gap year and go after that, that's fine too. We just want you to try your best at whatever you want to do in life. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
And she did. She left it all on the table and it worked out well for her. It doesn't always work out like that, but she was ready. We got her ready for the decision, whatever it was going to be. And we talked through what it would look like if it didn't happen. We know that applying from out of state is really competitive and I mean, I think we were a little worried it wasn't going to work out because you just never know about these things, But
yeah, and you care about her feelings. And yeah, I know. I mean, a friend of mine recently came out with a book and he did everything. Like he did everything. And he had some, pre-order goals and he had some specific media goals and so forth. And I messaged him, I said, how do you feel like now it's kind of, it's getting so close to the release? And he's like, I'm at peace. I have done it. Like, and I'm like, that's the thing. If it's out of your hands, it needs to have freedom from your mind.
Yeah.
Right. Like can you do something about it still? Well, then maybe there's an action to take. That's a different energy though, versus like you said with this application, you've done, like, lie down and watch Twilight, darling.
Exactly. I love it.
I know. I just rewatched all those movies.
That's so funny. My stepdaughter actually just started watching them and she's asked for the books for her birthday. I'm like,
they're great.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Sometimes we see some vampires in our life. You know what I mean?
Little escapism does not hurt anyone. I'm just saying.
There you go. And then we think about that, even just as, like, random side note here, Cam, but think about that, like vampire style. This author created these books about vampires. I mean, who would have known? But look, she's probably not taking it so seriously. She's just enjoying herself. And here we have this, I know it's like an older series now, but who's to say what's possible? Like I think lightening up can bring you far. I
think that's so true. I love this talk, Susie, and I could ask you questions for hours, I swear. But I know we'll wrap up here. But as we leave, I'm gonna put in the show notes, which is thiscustomlife.com/episode 59. I'm gonna put in the show notes all your links and how to find you and all of that good stuff. But I know you run a self-coaching society that takes people through some of the stuff we've talked about today, like tackling some of these hard things in your life. Tell us a little bit about that and where people can join and get access to that.
Yes. Well, the most important skill that I've learned, because it underpins everything, I'm talking romance, your body, your money, your friendships, like the most important skill you can master is self-reliance, right? It's a horrible thing to go through the world thinking that this person has to approve of me, or this has to happen and then I'll be okay, or these things have to fall into place in order for my life to go well, right? When we can learn self-reliance, like it's almost as if like the things that are outside of us have a far less of a dramatic impact on our emotions. And we also become like far more creative. Like it's almost like we tap into this like vibration that is invisible to most people without them even realizing it. Like human beings are so powerful. And Cameron, like, as you know, with the work that you do, it's like, for me, it's the biggest tragedy that people don't realize how powerful they are as creators. Like they are like day by day, like the environments that they're living in, like we shape those, like we define those, and we get to decide what happens next, right? Not always in perfect order, but the power that we have, it's just, I mean, I feel like it's my life's mission to make this clear. Like we are such powerful creators and it's available. So I teach this within my membership called Self-Coaching Society, but the best way to learn about it is to take my free class, which is called Become Your Own Life Coach. So go to becomeyourownlifecoach.com.
And we'll link to that in the show notes as well. And we will also link, we didn't get to talk about it today, but it's sort of your philosophy of let it be easy underscores everything that you do. And for those that are listening, you probably have picked up on that. Susie has this fantastic book that she released end of 2021, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I believe it's already been a year. But it's called Let It Be Easy. And that's Susie's personal mantra. She's been saying it as long as I've known her, and she wrote a book about it. And it's fantastic to help you implement like some of the philosophies and, self-coaching that we've talked about today. So definitely go get her book, sign up for her free class, and I'll put all of that in the show notes. So Susie, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I always love talking to you. It's always such a pleasure.
Cam, you're a joy. I love the work that you do. I can't wait to see what unfolds for you in the coming years. I think it's going to be really massive because of the value you create. It's really, really needed. And I love that you care so deeply about your people. It's always been so palpable to me, and I'm thrilled to be in your world.
That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed our chat, I hope you'll help spread the word. Share this episode with friends and head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave me a review. And don't forget, for more great stepmom content, Head on over to thiscustomlife.com and follow me on social media. Just search This Custom Life on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Until next time, you keep being you and know that we are in this together. See you here next week.